Princess Charlotte only pretended to love the ordinary mechanic to humiliate the royal family. But everything collapsed the night she saw Prince William secretly paying reporters to destroy him. And according to Royal Guard Oliver Grant, that was the exact moment Charlotte realized the palace would rather ruin an innocent man than lose control of her. The scandal began after months of brutal arguments inside Windsor Hall. Prince William had already arranged 3 different acceptable royal suitors for Charlotte. Rich aristocrats, political heirs, future diplomats, men chosen for the crown, not for her. Every dinner became a negotiation. Every public appearance became pressure. Every conversation ended the same way: "You are not free to marry for emotion." That was the sentence William repeated constantly. And eventually, Charlotte snapped. 1 week later, tabloids exploded with shocking photographs of Princess Charlotte kissing a motorcycle mechanic outside a tiny London garage. His name was Daniel Harper. No royal blood. No political status. No money. Just grease-stained hands, old leather jackets, and a tiny apartment above a repair shop. Exactly the kind of man Windsor Hall would hate, which was why Charlotte chose him. According to palace insiders, the relationship was never supposed to become serious. It was revenge. Charlotte privately admitted to Oliver Grant, "If father wants a scandal so badly, I'll give him one." The palace immediately panicked. William reportedly threw a crystal glass across his office after seeing the photos. Because within hours, the public loved Daniel. People called him the real prince. Social media exploded with support for Charlotte. And for the first time in years, the monarchy looked weak beside her. That was why Charlotte publicly announced the engagement only 2 weeks later, without warning Windsor Hall. Without William's permission. And during the live press conference, she smiled directly into the cameras and said, "I finally found someone who loves me without needing a crown attached to my name." William watched the broadcast in complete silence, but according to Oliver Grant, his eyes looked terrifying because Charlotte had humiliated him publicly. And William never tolerated humiliation. At first, Daniel genuinely believed Charlotte loved him. That was the worst part. He looked nervous around cameras, awkward during royal dinners, but painfully sincere whenever he looked at her. According to palace staff, Daniel treated Charlotte more gently than anyone inside Windsor Hall ever had. He listened to her, protected her, made her laugh, and slowly, Charlotte stopped pretending. That terrified her more than the palace ever could, because falling in love meant losing control of the game she created. Then came the betrayal. One night, Charlotte secretly followed William after overhearing palace staff whispering about a financial arrangement. Oliver Grant later admitted he tried stopping her, but she refused, and what Charlotte discovered destroyed her completely. Inside a private Windsor Hall office, Prince William was meeting secretly with 2 tabloid executives. Charlotte listened from the hallway in silence, then heard William say the sentence she would never forgive: "Make the mechanic disappear." Her breathing stopped instantly. One tabloid editor asked carefully, "How aggressive are we allowed to be?" William didn't hesitate. Destroy his reputation, affairs, drugs, violence. I don't care. Just separate them. Charlotte nearly collapsed hearing it, because suddenly, this wasn't about royal image anymore. William wanted Daniel ruined completely, and according to Oliver Grant, the next part terrified him most, because Charlotte didn't cry. She went cold. Completely cold. The following morning, tabloids suddenly exploded with horrific accusations against Daniel. Fake criminal records, false cheating rumors. Photoshopped images. Even his mother was followed by paparazzi outside her workplace. Daniel looked devastated, but still tried protecting Charlotte from everything. Then one evening, Charlotte arrived unexpectedly at Daniel's apartment and found him sitting alone in darkness, holding one of the newspapers. Quietly looked up at her. "You should leave me." Charlotte immediately shook her head, but Daniel continued, "I know what this family can do." His voice cracked slightly. "I'm not worth losing your life over." That sentence shattered something inside Charlotte instantly. Because for the first time, she realized Daniel genuinely loved her enough to let her go, not control her. Not use her, not manipulate her. Real love. And suddenly, the fake engagement wasn't fake anymore. That night, Charlotte returned to Windsor Hall furious. According to palace staff, she walked directly into William's private office while foreign diplomats were still inside the palace, then publicly slapped the tabloids onto his desk. "You're trying to destroy him." William stayed calm. "I'm trying to save you." Charlotte laughed bitterly through tears. "No." Her voice cracked violently. "You're trying to punish me." William finally stood up. "He doesn't belong in this world." Charlotte stepped closer. "Immediately. Neither do I anymore." Silence. Absolute silence. Even royal advisors stopped breathing. Then Charlotte said something that reportedly terrified William completely. "If you touch him again, I will tell the world everything this family has ever hidden." According to Oliver Grant, William genuinely looked afraid for the first time in years, because he realized Charlotte was serious. Days later, Daniel was attacked by paparazzi outside London. After reporters exposed his family address publicly, Charlotte rushed to the hospital immediately, and when she saw Daniel bleeding beside the emergency room bed, she completely broke emotionally, because suddenly, this wasn't rebellion anymore. Someone she loved was suffering because of her family. Daniel quietly grabbed her hand despite the bruises on his face, and whispered, "You should have never met me." Charlotte burst into tears, instantly. Then finally admitted the truth. "I was using you at first." Daniel looked devastated hearing it, but before he could speak, Charlotte continued crying, "And now you're the only real thing in my life." Silence filled the hospital room. Then Daniel quietly asked, "So what happens now?" Charlotte wiped tears from her face slowly, then answered with a sentence that reportedly shook Windsor Hall completely when Oliver Grant later repeated it privately. "Now, I stop being afraid of my family." 3 days later, Princess Charlotte held another live press conference. But this time, the palace had no control over it. William tried stopping the broadcast. Failed. Because Charlotte appeared beside Daniel, publicly holding his hand tighter than ever before, then looked directly into the cameras and said, "Yes, the palace tried to separate us. And yes, I'm still choosing him." The entire monarchy exploded into chaos afterward, but according to Oliver Grant, William looked strangely defeated instead of furious this time, because deep down, he finally understood something terrifying. The harder he fought to control Charlotte, the more unstoppable she became, and worst of all, she was no longer fighting him alone. If you enjoyed this emotional royal drama story, leave your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Do you think Charlotte truly changed because of Daniel? Or was this rebellion inside her all along? And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more hidden royal scandals, emotional palace drama, and shocking Windsor Hall secrets.